Billy got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. 10 DBS, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to the latest episode of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure they will be talking about week 1 of the NFL season. A lot of surprises, a lot of upsets, a lot of drama, as usual, in the world of the NFL. But here on Boot to the Face, we will be talking about the world of professional wrestling. EJ, how the hell you been?
Man, I can't complain, man. How you doing?
A little under the weather.
Oh no, what happened?
I don't know. I woke up the other day and my throat was like real dry and itchy. Both my kids have been really sick the last couple days, but the sickness they got and the sickness I got are two different things. But shit's going around, man. When the kids go back to school, everybody starts getting sick. Plus,
Hey, man.
I was in Vegas last weekend, so I probably got sick there too.
It's all types of germs running around Vegas.
Ain't that the truth?
That's the nice way of putting it. Germs, quote unquote. But yeah, man, kids carry germs too, man. So, like you said, who knows where the cooties came from?
Yeah.
How was Vegas though?
Vegas is good, man. Vegas always treats me well. I came back with, I won money. I came back in the plus. I could have, man, there was one night I was fucking knocking them dead at the roulette table. It was like, was Saturday? I went to check in at the D and my room wasn't ready. And they gave me $100 free bet. So I took that and went and won money with it. And I looked up. I started with the money they gave me. And I had like $3,000 on the table.
Jeez.
And so the whole time I was there for like 7 hours. Like I didn't leave this table for like 7 hours, which is a fun thing when you go by yourself. Like you got, I mean, my friend was out there. I was going to watch football with on Sunday, but on Saturday, like I was kind of doing my own thing. And so you got nobody, like no schedule to keep. So you just do what you want. I looked up, I was there for like 7 hours. And once I got to like $3,000, I said, well, I'm killing it. I'm going to start betting more on every fucking thing. Stupid. As Randy Orton would say, stupid. But I still ended up coming out ahead. I left on Monday morning. My flight left at 1 o'clock. And I went down to the roulette table at 10. I said, I'm going to play for like 45 minutes, just see what happens. But I'm going to leave at 10:45. I'm going to go check out of my room, get to the airport. It's all good. Man, I fucking around got hot about 10:30. I didn't leave that table till after 11 o'clock. My room key didn't work anymore because I'm supposed to check out at 11 o'clock. So I had to run back downstairs, get them to reopen my room to grab my shit, catch a 30-minute Uber. I walked into the airport at 10 after 12 for a 1 o'clock flight. Thank God for TSA pre-check.
Oh man, so you was barely making it, huh?
Man, I walked through there, grabbed something to eat, used the bathroom, grabbed a drink, and when I walked up to the gate, they were loading Zone 5 for Delta back to Atlanta, and I was in Zone 5. Like,
Damn.
it was crazy timing. But, yeah, man, Vegas was good. It was fun watching football there. Met up with a buddy of mine, and we went to Circa. There was nowhere to sit, so we stood at a bar, ended up meeting, like, a tattoo artist that works out there that's tattooed a bunch of NFL players and shit. Him, his wife, another couple, their fucking getting free drinks for everybody while we're just standing there. And honestly, I don't even remember the Cowboys game. I just know they won.
They kicked the shit out of them.
Yeah.
That's what you missed.
So a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
At least you came out up though, man. That's one thing about me. Like I don't risk it. I don't press my luck. That's probably why, you know, I'm not a professional gambler. But when I'm comfortable and I know, like I don't risk it. If I'm up a good bit, I don't risk it.
Yeah. I was talking to my girlfriend about that, and I said something told me when I got to $3,000, like this is it. Fucking walk away or stop at 25. But I just was like, no, I'm gonna hit the next number. I'm gonna hit the next number.
And that's how Vegas gets people.
But I mean, it was their money. Like I won all that off of the fucking free money that they gave me. But yeah,
Some people
I do need
justify
to.
it.
I do need to fucking learn to, like, when I get up to a certain amount, just be like, all right, we're done with this session. Let's fucking go take a break, go get something to eat, come back later maybe and like take 500 to $3,000 and play with. But no, stubborn ass Rucker. But I still came out pretty fucking good. Like, you include the plane ticket, the money I spent while I was there and everything, I still came out on the plus side.
And what about you make any parlays?
Yeah, I did. I did a 3-team parlay. Dallas. Fuck, I can't. I'm using my phone as my camera. I tell you the parlay. It was $50 to win 289. I won that, and then I put 50 on Dallas to win 72, I think, and I won that. But I made like 5 or 6 other like big parlays. Like 8 or 9 things need to happen, and none of them happened. So
You win some, you lose some. You
yeah.
said you went to the guy who's tattooing NFL players. Might have missed it. Did you actually get a tattoo?
No, no, no. I didn't
Uh,
go to him. He was
uh,
at the bar. Him, his wife, and a couple other people were just. He was a New York Giants guy, so he automatically started talking shit to me. But like,
about the Cowboys? Oh, Giants. For some reason I thought you
yeah,
said
he's a
Jets. Yeah.
Giants guy, so he
Okay,
started
yeah.
talking shit. But it was like in a funny way. We ended up just like striking up conversation and shit like that. Next thing you know, like we're following each other on Instagram and we're buddies. He's getting all the fucking drinks and shit like that. So it was a good time.
That's what's up, man. Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. Can't wait to go back. I think I'll be back in November.
Or just to go.
It's like a part-time job, man. I go up there, I make money, I come home.
Well, there you have it. How was your wrestling viewing out there, if you did any?
It was very blurred because I was drunk and sleepy when I was watching wrestling every night. Laying in my hotel room, drunk as hell, trying to watch All Out. Um, and I drink a lot when I'm in Vegas, right? But I think Tony Khan drinks more than I do the way he books.
Explain.
You got a guy who wins the #1 contender match to face the champion at Arthur Ashe Stadium. You got a guy who turns on the champion, beats the shit out of him, right? At All Out.
Okay. I feel like we're going out of order here. Let's talk about All Out first, then we'll get to that. Let's start off with the positive. What were your thoughts about All Out?
It was all right. I mean, like I said, I was watching it in Vegas and drunk. Like, it didn't have my full attention, but for it was basically a throwaway pay-per-view. The way I feel about it. You tell me, you were not in Vegas, so you were watching it as a regular wrestling fan. To me, it felt like a throwaway pay-per-view.
Really, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe because I was just sitting down watching it with my full attention. It was like basically the equivalent of a backlash, and you've had some fun backlashes. Of course, it's not going to be WrestleMania, but I just thought it was full of like fun. You had some blood feuds in there. You had Willow and Chris. That was a really good fucking just hardcore match.
Yeah,
Daniel and
never
Daniel
wanted to see a
Garcia.
thumbtack so bad in my life.
Daniel Garcia and MJF was a little blood feud, and they were doing disgusting stuff like spitting each other's faces, which is I don't know why they agree to that, but then of course you had Swerve and Hangman to top it off, and you even throw a little bit of mat wrestling in there with the 4-way with Okada and Takeshita, and then Ospreay and Pac. I thought it was a really fun pay-per-view. Like you said, it was not consequential or anything like that, but I thought it was a really solid pay-per-view. I enjoyed it.
Predictable. I mean, look, AEW throwaway pay-per-views have good matches on them. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying that the matches weren't good quality, but like you said, it was inconsequential. Like none of the results really fucking mattered. Hangman finally beat Swerve, but it doesn't even count because it was non-sanctioned.
Yeah, and it's consequential, just like the overseas pay-per-views with WWE,
which I call out when it happens.
And they're good. But they have some like those aren't bad.
Yeah, never said it was bad. I just said it was missable.
Yeah, but like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was worth. What do you think about the? I'm gonna say, what do you think about the Ospreay match?
It was okay. I was about to say my favorite match was Willow and Statlander.
Yeah, not a lot of people thought Chris Statlander was gonna win it. I think I actually predicted her winning just because.
I think I did too.
I think you picked Willow.
Did I?
Yeah, but I understand why. You know, she's with us.
I wanted Statlander to win though.
I mean, that made the most sense for Statlander to win.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed that match. Like, there's something about like a women's match that's violent as fuck, where it's just like it just seems more like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like I can watch two dudes jump off the top of the stage and like somebody can get hurt for real, and I just be like, damn, that sucks. But when women do something, I'm like, oh my god, like looking through my fingers and shit. Like, what are they doing? Stop! Don't do that to her. And it's just more drama invested in it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because it's not shown all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. But now to get into what you are getting into now, I didn't mean to cut you off with that, but you want to get into that?
Tony Khan's drunk. Or, booger sugar, whatever, when he books. But Darby Allin wins a match a couple weeks ago to get a number one contenders championship match at Arthur Ashe Stadium against the champion. Bryan Danielson wins the title. At All Out, he defends the title against Jack Perry. He gets turned on by the BCC. They beat the dog shit out of him.
Which I like.
I called that, by the way. I called that the night of All In. Said everybody in BCC's got a belt except for Moxley. He ain't gonna like that shit. They turn on him, beat the dog shit out of him. They come out and he tells Darby, I don't know if you've been watching the show or not, but like Danielson ain't gonna make it to fucking All In or Arthur Ashe. Like, you ain't got a world title match. We beat the fuck out of him. So I want a shot at your title. Darby says, cool, run it. So now you got Darby versus Moxley at Arthur Ashe instead of Darby versus Danielson. And then Nigel McGuinness comes out and calls out a match with Bryan that apparently is going to happen. And if I'm Darby, I'm like, wait a goddamn minute. I had a match for the world title. They told me he wasn't going to be able to wrestle. So I took a different match. And 30 minutes after I take that match, he's fighting somebody else. On top of that, this Nigel versus Bryan shit, I didn't watch ROH in 2005 or whenever the fuck it happened. I know they have a feud because I have a wrestling podcast and I got to investigate this kind of shit. But I don't know about their feud. They booked this shit like everybody's in the know. We're not.
That's the only part I'll defend against it is they've been building this for the past year on Collision. I know you don't watch Collision.
Not just me, Jay. Don't nobody watch Collision.
I guess I'm one of the few. Collision's ratings have been like
It's it's like you and four other niggas that watch Collision.
It's been like it floats first between like 3 and 450. So it's some people watch Collision. I watch Collision, but I guess if you're not watching Dynamite, but yeah, it's been building for a year. That's
I
why
mean, he's been talking shit to him on commentary. That's really enough to get a guy a world title shot.
I don't. It's not for the title though, which
Okay,
doesn't
that's
make any
enough to get
sense.
a guy a match with the world champion at one of their biggest shows in the States.
Yeah, I mean, title shot. Cody just gave KO a title shot for no reason
We
either.
ain't talking
But
about Cody. We're talking about Tony Khan.
it's wrestling. But I'm gonna get into why I didn't like it at all. But that's like the least.
Okay,
That's the least amount of reason why I didn't
let
like
me
it.
let me finish what I was saying.
Okay.
They booked this as if everybody's supposed to know what happened 15, 20 years ago with Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. Some of us don't, okay? Some of us do. A lot of AEW fans are hardcore fans that have been watching Ring of Honor for the longest. You give, they got one more Dynamite before Arthur Ashe Stadium. So you essentially have a week and a half build for this match. You want me to believe this is a big match because people know about McGuinness and Danielson from ROH. We don't fucking know. That's the problem. Why they can't get ratings to get higher because they're just booking for the fucking nerds that were watching 15 years ago. You're not booking for everybody else. There's a way to do this match, but not the way they did it. You're just assuming that everybody fucking knows. Why put Darby Allin in a world title match? Just take it away from him because the champion got hurt and then put the champion in a different fucking match. This booking is drunk. This
Yeah.
booking has been sitting at the roulette table since 3 o'clock, and it's 11:15, and the drinks have been free. This is the dumbest fucking booking. I can't defend this shit anymore, and it's fucking annoying
I
because
mean, go ahead.
I like AEW. I like a lot of the wrestlers at AEW, but it's becoming harder and harder to watch, pay attention to, and follow along to. Great, you got good pay per views. You got great fucking wrestling at the pay per views. That's not enough, man. There's a reason only 1,700 motherfuckers are showing up on Wednesdays.
I mean, what all you just said though, for 2024, they've been doing steady storytelling and steady booking outside. I didn't like the leaking of the footage. I didn't like that. And then this, I don't like either. Because I feel like it was unnecessary. But that's not gonna, I mean, if you're frustrated, you know that once they do something like this, that makes you remember like the debacle they had like the second half of 2022 and then whatever happened in 2023. But I shouldn't detract people from the stuff they've been doing this year. But I don't get why they did that. Uh, like you said, Darby Allin had the title shot, and first of all, I didn't like Darby Allin. Like it doesn't make any sense. Why would you give up your title shot to begin with? But even if you did that, I guess I wouldn't be like extremely confused about it if, like you said, Bryan Danielson is still wrestling on the same card, so it makes you look double dumb if you're Darby Allin. First of all, why would you give up your title shot or put it on the line? But you could, chop that off of Darby Allin just being a daredevil and stupid. But you look even more stupid when the champion is fighting on the same card, which really was the linchpin on why it's ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. I don't get it.
You compared it to WWE early, right? Imagine motherfucker wins the Royal Rumble. You get a world title shot at WrestleMania, and somebody walks out and says, Cody ain't gonna make it to WrestleMania. I just beat his ass. I want to challenge you for the world title shot. You like, all right, well, if Cody ain't fighting, at least I'm on WrestleMania. And then, not even the next show, EJ. It was 30 minutes later. Another guy walks out and challenges the guy that's too hurt to fight you.
Yeah, that's where, like I said, I wouldn't have liked it even if Darby put it on the line. But like I said, I guess you could but to have them on the same show, that's just head scratching. Like you're good enough to fight on the show, but not put the title on the line against the original person. The only thing they could try to save face is if they say the doctor didn't clear them. It's another unsanctioned match. We're not clearing you. AEW camp is unsanctioned. Like we're not sanctioned. But even that's still a little bit convoluted. But now you just backed yourself into a corner.
If I get a world title shot and the world champion's not 100%, let's do this shit right now. I don't need you to be 100%. I don't care how babyface I am. One of your legs don't work? That's a damn shame. I'm gonna hook this Boston Crab on your ass quick as hell.
I know, right? With that being said, that kind of took away from with this new darker BCC because I like that, but just didn't have to inject Moxley into the title picture like that and convolute it like that.
Where's Wheeler Yuta fit in all this?
That's a good question too, because it seems like Pac just replaced him, and Wheeler was crying watching Danielson get his head suffocated with a plastic bag.
I did like how that was executed though, how like you thought Moxley was gonna turn, but it was actually Claudio to hit him. And then you looked at Wheeler Yuta and he's being held back by Pac, so Pac knew what was happening too. But they're the fucking trios champions.
Yeah, that's why I'm intrigued about it. Like, just they didn't have to do the title thing on the line. They could have just let Bryan beat Darby at the whatever pay-per-view. They could have saved Nigel for Wrestle Dream. I get you saying people don't know about it, but I don't think they're gonna go back and show ROH footage and all of that.
They own ROH. Why not?
I mean, I guess they could. They probably will throw it into a package leading up to it, but I mean, like I said, it's been a collision story going on for the past year with them. But yeah, they could have saved it for Wrestle Dream. They could have built up a little bit more. So, and then you got Mox. They could have built up Mox, Danielson, Full Gear. It's November. That's a nice little long build. That's November's not that far off. That's how I would have did it. But who am I?
It's like they take one step forward, two steps back. We just talked about how good the BCC angle was, and then 72 hours later, they fuck it all up.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing how it goes moving forward. Just because that's what happens when you have things packed so closely, like All Out, All In, and All Out, and Arthur Ashe. You get a little bit of room, I guess, between Wrestle Dream and Full Gear. But thank goodness Arthur Ashe is moving into I think February, March next year, so they don't have to worry about that next year because it's gonna be over in Tony Storm's neck of the woods. I guess because it's summer over there during that time. So
then you got Christian Cage running around with a title shot too. I wonder if he's gonna put it on the line before he fucking cashes it in.
It seems like he's treating it more like almost like the Money in the Bank. So maybe they're saving that for Wrestle Dreams. I'm curious to see when he, pulls the trigger on that. But we have to see how it plays out.
I guess. Any other thoughts on All Out?
I think we pretty much hit everything. Like I said, I enjoyed it, and people seem to be all up in arms. Well, certain commentators, I see a lot of people that liked it, which I did. A lot of people were like up in arms, clutching their pearls that Swerve got a syringe stuck in his cheek, and they use real cinder blocks. I mean, these guys are professional, so they know the risk they're taking. So I guess I'm just desensitized, man. I grew up watching the ridiculous shit with ECW and all of that. And it was older people more so, the commentators and some of the podcasts I listen to. I'm like, why you acting like little crybaby bitches, man? Like,
I mean, a syringe is a lot, though. Like with all the people that are addicted to drugs and habits and shit like that. Like, we kind of don't need to see that shit on wrestling. But at the same time, like, it ain't like he injected real fucking heroin into him. You know what I mean?
That's how people were acting like it. They're like, my kids watch this. I'm like, didn't turn the TV off if your kids watch it, man. Like,
it's just Novocaine. It happened to me when I had to get a filling. They did the same fucking thing. Stuck a syringe right in my fucking jaw, my cheek. Made my whole left side of my face numb.
And then, like, I saw that Hangman's back was scratched up, but how do they know what the cinder block was made of? There's no telling what it could have been made out of.
Yeah, and look, man, these are grown men doing things they want to do. It is like some people do the stupid shit, like Darby. Darby does stupid shit all the time. Like that fucking glass at Revolution, that was stupid as fuck. Like he honestly
Yes.
could have died. Like if that glass would have cut him in the wrong place, he could have died.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that, but this seems a lot tamer than that. And I'm sure they went over it plenty of times to where they know that they're not going to paralyze themselves, whatever the cinder block was made out of. But I was cool with it. I just thought it was a lot of fun. But I don't know where Hangman goes after this. This is his first win, even though it's unsanctioned. He beat the shit out of your boy Double J. For some reason that had me laughing.
I know, right? They try to turn Double J babyface. He's standing up for Swerve. Get the fuck out of here. Why are you even here, bro? Like, leave.
Yeah, why is
Hangman
he
wasn't trying to
around?
hear that shit. Double J said 3 words. Hangman swung on his ass. Shut the fuck up.
So that had me laughing. And then yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. But on and upward, this world of wrestling slows down for no man. On to the next one.
Yeah. Speaking of slowing down, WWE slowing down Monday Night Raw, announcing that they're going down to 2 hours now.
Thank you, Lord. I've been waiting for this forever.
Why?
I don't need 3 hours, man.
You watch it live?
A lot of times, yeah, because that's my only chance to watch it. Like, I'm busy, man. Like, believe it or not, man, you should know first person the girlfriend business that takes up some time. That takes up a lot more time, man.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying, isn't it? Um, I only get one wrestling show a week, like especially now during football season, where I'm like, I have to watch this live, and I've just literally this week, I decided I'm no longer watching AEW. AEW was the one I picked to watch live. I said Wednesday nights I want to watch wrestling. And now this week I decided I'm fucking done with it. I'll start watching SmackDown or NXT. I'd rather watch one of those. But now that Raw is 2 hours, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch Raw and I can switch back and forth to Monday Night Football. Everything else I'll watch the following day or a couple days later on delay or whatever. But yeah, it's a cold game out here trying to, you know, keep a
Yeah,
woman happy and watch all the wrestling that's happening.
yeah. Before the whole relationship business in my world, I used to always could watch Raw and Dynamite live. And SmackDown, I watched a lot live, but it'd be like every now and then it'd be something going on Friday, but it wasn't a lot of Fridays I didn't watch live. I rarely watch SmackDown live. Even though SmackDown's one of my favorite shows, I rarely watch it live now. Wednesday Dynamite, it's like half and half now. I used to always watch it live, it's half and half now, but I always watch it the next day. And Raw is like the consistent show that because I can't work remotely on Monday. I have to be in the office, so I'm always at my own place on Monday night. So that's like the show I like almost always watch live, and that's the longest one. Go figure. But yeah, I digging it being just because I watch so much. Like even though I don't watch all those shows live, I still watch all the wrestling that we have to do because we run the show, and they cut it down 30 minutes. I'm not mad at that because, like you said, once you watch it the next day, it's really only like 2 hours without the commercials. So it being that being down 2 hours, which means be 30. I'm not recently as well when I've been watching it not live. I've been watching it on like 1.25, make it go even faster. It's because we watch so much wrestling.
It just goes to show you that like a year and a half or so ago, I wasn't complaining, but I was just saying like this is too much fucking wrestling to keep up with. And so many people like were tweeting us and shit like that, calling, "Oh, shut up, you're complaining. There's no such thing as too much rest." Those people clearly were not getting any pussy, EJ.
Well, clearly not, but it's not if you don't have to cover it. We actually have to know what we're talking about, so it's definitely too much. But if you're just a fan, I get what they're saying. Just watch what you want to watch, but we gotta watch the shit, so it's too much. It's too
Yeah, but
much
I have
for
a
us.
life also. Like I have kids. A girlfriend have a full-time job? Like it's a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
like I
Monday
said,
Night
like
Raw is
you
three
have to be
hours.
informed.
NXT
Yeah.
that makes it 5 hours. Dynamite that makes it 7 hours. SmackDown that's 9 hours. Rampage that's 10 hours. Collision that's 12 hours. And that's if there's no pay-per-view. And then you got TNA to watch also. And then if you can catch ROH, we're talking damn near a part-time job.
Yeah, it's a lot, but like I said, you have to be informed, so that's a lot. But if you didn't have a show or podcast to do, I'm sure you wouldn't watch all that stuff. You watch the recaps or the highlights on Twitter.
Shit. Tell that to fucking neckbeard Phil down in his parents' basement.
Well, that's why his name is Neckbeard Phil, and he hasn't squeezed a titty before.
Trust me, Phil. Squeezing titties way better than wrestling, bro. Try it.
Yeah, but I heard.
Consensual,
Go
Phil.
ahead. No, yeah, because essentially, yep. I'm glad you
Consensual.
put that in there.
Don't
Glad
just
you.
go grabbing somebody's titty. Consensually.
But I was about to say, I heard SmackDown is doing 3 hours. Is that just for the premiere, or is that long term? I hope it's just for the
I had
premiere.
I hadn't heard that.
I'm hoping it's just for the premiere because it's like, all right, you going 2 hours and just make another 3 hours. So what's
That's
the point?
tomorrow, right? USA Network.
I could see them pulling a move like that since after January, Raw's going to Netflix. So like, all right, we need 3 hours, so we just switch it over to SmackDown. But I'm thinking it's for the premiere, but don't quote me. But
WWE also announced this week, EJ, that they're doing away with a lot of the live shows, which I'm sure the wrestlers love.
yeah, I mean, we seen it with AEW. They had like a little stint where they were doing the house rule shows, but less wear and tear on your performance and whatnot. And is that just for the
Less
crit?
practice.
Huh?
Also less practice.
That's true. Is that just for is just doing it just for like the holiday season?
No, the press release I read said they're doing away with, certain house shows that don't make as much money anymore. And
What does that mean?
so what I take from that is they do, if you're on Monday Night Raw, you
Mhm,
wrestle Friday, Saturday, Sunday at
mhm,
house shows, and then you wrestle Monday and you go home. If you're on SmackDown, you wrestle SmackDown Saturday, Sunday, Monday house shows, then you go home, right? Chances are those Friday and Monday shows don't do well. The
mhm,
weekend shows probably do.
mhm.
So they're going to cut the fat with the ones that aren't selling a lot of tickets.
Wow, I didn't know they ran house shows on the days they run SmackDown and Raw. That seems counterproductive.
I'm pretty sure they, at least that's how they, I know that's how they did it when they first did the brand split.
Oh.
So I could be wrong on that, but from the way I understand it, they wrestle 2 to 3 house shows before the live show that they do. And I mean it's counterproductive, but how counterproductive is it? It's like at the max 20,000 people will be at the arena and not at home watching your show. But you'll get money for those 20,000 people that are there.
When they do house shows, though, they usually do a smaller house. They usually do like
That's
10,000, 8,000.
right. But that's my point. My point is it's counterproductive, but not really because it's such a small number of people that aren't watching the live show. But you're getting money for those people being there and the merch and all that shit.
They rest the random numbers because trust me, if they can make money, they wouldn't be cutting this back. Of course, it looks all fine and dandy to the public. Oh, they just care about the wrestlers. That they probably a little bit into it, but Bob, yeah, what you're making in the bank is what comes down to it. So they probably saw that for these house shows, they got a production cost and traveling with the rings and crew. They probably saw they weren't really making that much money. So they're like,
Right.
oh, we're trimming down the shows. Hooray
And
for the wrestlers.
I don't know if you've been to a WWE show lately, but these tickets are high as shit. And
Mm.
so what they're charging at the shows now, they can afford to say, all right, we're not working Fridays anymore. We're just going to do 2 house shows, 1 live show for this roster. And again, good for the wrestlers. Like they get to, they get another day or however many days it is off now. Because I'm sure they're still gonna run house shows, just not as many.
Yeah, they probably do like the bigger ones, the MSGs, the Chicago's and whatnot. So
I
yeah.
honestly, I think if they do 3 house shows a week, I think they'll cut it down to 2. I don't think they'll get rid of them 100%. I still think that they'll still run house shows. But then by not doing it, you're putting your product in higher demand when it does come. Because now, for example, I live in Atlanta. All right. We got Bad Blood coming. The last WWE show that was here, I don't even think we've had one this year. So
Mm.
now those tickets are high as fuck. We were
Hmm.
supposed to get WWE Day One, but they canceled it, which was a cool little pay per view they had here 2 years in a row. Um, so now those tickets are high as shit. Why? Because little Jimmy, you know, he hadn't seen WWE all year. Come on, Dad. Bad Blood's coming.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley's
And
fighting Liv Morgan. Like, yeah, but the tickets are $250 each. Little Jimmy. I know, Dad, but I don't know when they're coming back. Like, I looked at the website and Atlanta's not on the schedule anytime soon.
overtime shifting.
Yeah, so it's definitely a business thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they do the house shows. It's mainly for families and kids, like especially kids. This might be their first experience, but I hadn't been to a house show since I was a kid. There's really no reason for me to go to a house show unless it's like something special, like they're promoting a special attraction that only house show, but that rarely happens. Like it's not needed for me to go to a house show.
I sat front row at a house show um 2018, 2019, I think, in December. It was a cage match. Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, I think. John Cena was there. Becky Lynch was trying to get the title back from Alexa Bliss. The Bella Twins and Natty were there. We sat front row. And that was the most fun I've ever had at a WWE show that wasn't a pay-per-view. And I had a lot of fun at Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But I was front row at a WWE show. It's the first time I've ever done that. The tickets weren't expensive and it was just fun. Like it wasn't overly produced. Like they got to come out and say what they wanted and do what they want. I think Randy Orton wrestled Bray Wyatt. Um, we were sitting right in the corner, and the steps were in front of us. And Bray Wyatt used to do this thing where he would come right in front of the steps, and then he would run 3 steps backwards real fast right into the barricade. And that's where we were. And he scared the dog shit out of my ex. And that was worth the price of admission. Just like seeing her reaction as an adult, like freaking out because of that. We got fucking selfies with John Cena on the ground in front of us. Like, house shows are fun.
Yeah, I guess if that's like your style of show. I just like the unpredictability of a TV taping or a pay per view because a title change might happen. And they used to do that at house shows more often back in the day. Like Diesel won the belt at a house show, but they just don't do that anymore. If they did that, start doing that more, I'd be like, okay, let me go to this house show.
Yeah, I
But
remember
like
Sting
you said, they're a
lost the
little bit.
world title on like a Monday and won it back on a Saturday at house shows. And it
Who
was
did
like,
that?
what? Sting, Sting,
Okay.
Sting and Vader traded the title like a week.
I didn't know that. Um,
It was either Sting and Vader or Sting and Rick Rude. But I know Sting, it was Sting. It was definitely Sting. It was in like 92, 93. He lost the world title and then won it back before the TV tapings came back on. But they reported
so
it. They
hmm.
reported it on TV and the magazines picked it up because back then there was no Twitter. So we had to read fucking Pro Wrestling Illustrated and stuff like that.
So it's like a toss up. Sometimes they'll officially, recognize that reign, and sometimes they don't. I know that happened
Yeah.
with Rick. Did they officially recognize that reign?
Yeah, they did. That's one of Sting's reigns.
Okay, because I know they said Rick thing won it like 20 something times, but like you said, they didn't have social media back then, so they didn't count it because it was at a house show and whatnot. In the 80s, I think they kind of loosened up in the 90s some on that because like the reporting was a little bit better and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, but back to WWE running house shows. Like you said, they probably weren't making as much money, so they're cutting back. But shout out to the wrestlers. Like you said, they get to be with their family more, and nothing wrong with that.
Well, I just brought up Pro Wrestling Illustrated, EJ, which leads us right into our next topic, the PWI 500. We're not going to talk about all 500 of them. We ain't got all 500. But we will cover the top 10. I always like the PWI 500. It's always fun to see where your favorite wrestlers rank. I know it's a kayfabe magazine, but coming up in the late 80s, early 90s watching, I used to love going and getting the I want to think it was PWI that they had the WWF rankings. So it'd be like, Hogan's the world champion, Macho Man's Intercontinental Champion, and then they have rankings 1 through 10. And then they'd have WCW rankings like Ric Flair, Sting, 1 through 10. And then whatever other companies that were big back then, they would have those. But then they would have pro wrestling rankings, EJ, every month. They would have who's the best out of everybody. And I used to fucking love going to see where Sting ranked, not just in WCW, but compared to like Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. Like wrestling magazines were my shit when I used to fucking love it. I would literally go to every grocery store every month and try to find the newest ones. And it was kind of like, not gonna lie, as I started getting older and wrestling magazines started losing their luster and going out of business, like it was kind of fucking sad to go in and not be able to find wrestling magazines like you used to.
Yeah, man. I think we talked about this in my early days on the show, but I used to like getting the WWE magazine, and then like the more riskier one was the risque, so to speak, is the Raw magazine. And like, we show Sable in here. But like you said, then you had like the ones that were non-WWE, the PWIs, what's the Wrestling Observers.
I used to love WOW. It was called WOW Magazine, World of Wrestling. And the reason I liked it was because PWI and all those, they had a lot of black and white pages in them. But WOW was just glossy colored pages. It was a little more expensive. It was $10, which was a lot back then. But they had really good pictures in it also. But yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but like I just was always intrigued with the non WWE or non WCW ones because they have people from both the companies, and sometimes they pit them against each other. Like, what if this match could happen? Like, it was fun back in the day in the grocery store. But
Dream match, Sting versus Undertaker. Yeah. I remember that fucking cover still.
Yeah, those used to always intrigue me. So,
the first All In in Chicago, it was me, my ex, Pete Opolis, shout out to Pete, Hoop, Jay-Z Flair, I think, was there. There's a few other people there. We were hanging out in the lobby in the Starcast Hotel, and Bill Apter comes walking up.
Snap.
Yeah, and I got a selfie with him. I took a picture with him, told him I appreciated his work. But like, that was such a nerd moment for me to see fucking Bill Apter, because I had read and saw so much of his work when I was a kid coming up. And yeah, so I got him to take a picture with me. And then of course, like, Scott Hall came walking through the lobby drunk looking for his pizza that he ordered. But yeah, All In was a good moment of like meeting people that you had been a fan of for so long. And Bill Apter, of all the fucking people there, that's like one of my favorite memories, was running into him in the lobby that weekend.
So Scott Hall went in there drunk, asked for pizza, and he was peeing drunk next to you. Well, this guy was all over the place.
Well, those are two different times.
Those are two different.
Yeah, one was New Year's Eve in Marietta.
Okay.
And one was in Chicago. Yeah, he's coming through. He's like, I ordered pizza. You guys seen the pizza? And we're like, no. I guess I'm gonna go check up at the lobby. And everybody's like, hey, can I get a picture? He's like, I just want pizza. It's like, fuck your picture. I need pepperoni.
I don't want to dive down that rabbit hole, but it's crazy, man. Like, you think somebody's getting better, but he still got their demons. 'Cause that was only 5 years ago, and now the man's gone.
It's
6, 7.
6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. Yeah.
But
And then
yeah.
when I saw him on New Year's Eve, that was right around the time he had gotten hooked up with DDP. So to like see him still drunk, I was like, oh shit. But right after that, he had kind of gotten, I shouldn't say right after that, but a couple years after that, he had kind of gotten clean with DDP and was doing a lot better. But yeah, I've had a couple drunk run-ins with the bad guy.
Hey, say hello to the bad guy.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get to this PWI top 10, EJ.
Neckbeard Temp's gonna be mad we didn't go through all 500, man. Like, what are we doing?
Get a life. Go
Uh,
consensually touch a titty, neckbeard.
So I'll start from 10 and go down to 1. So number 10, I think we had this discussion last year because I think Vikingo was on the list and people were complaining. And I said,
Damn.
like, he's not on the list. But that brings me to the number 10. We got Mystico, CMLL. He pops in and out of AEW from time to time. But I'm sure people were probably complaining about it. I didn't see anything on Twitter, but I would assume that people would be complaining about Mystical. But like we said, not everything is WWE. Not everything is WWE, AEW. You got worldwide. Mexico CMLL is a big thing. So just because it's not in our wheelhouse doesn't mean this guy doesn't deserve to be in the top 10.
I get that. But I also feel like PWI is an American magazine. So we need to lean more towards the wrestling that people here watch. It's like if I get on Twitter and I say Mickey James is the greatest women's wrestler of all time, I mean that. Like, because from what I watched, she is. Like, she's the best women's wrestler ever if you add everything in, right? And then some guy will be like, what about this chick that was in Japan in 1987? Like, shut the fuck up. We couldn't even watch wrestling in Japan in 1987. Like, what are you even talking about? So that's kind of how I feel about when they put random fucking foreign wrestlers on here. I don't mean to sound like MAGA, but
A
we
little
don't
maggish.
watch that shit though.
I get what you're saying. It's made by Americans. Like the reach of these magazines is worldwide with the internet, so they want to include all the organizations. So I can't be mad at that. And Mystical can go.
I think they put people like that on there just to get people talking and to get their name out there. There's no way that this motherfucker's the number top. I can name 10 wrestlers off the top of my head better than him, and I've never seen him wrestle before.
Well, Mystical is number 10, and I'm not gonna argue with it. Number 9, you got your world heavyweight champion, Gunther. Number 8, you got Jon Moxley, former recent and New Japan heavyweight champion. Number 7, you got Maxwell Jacob Freeman. Number 6.
Those are like 4 matches last year.
Well, number 6, you had Damian Priest, your former world champion. Number 5, you got Naito from New Japan. He's the current IWGP champion, isn't he?
This list is shit.
And then number 4, you got Seth freaking Rollins, former world champion. Number 3, you got the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. Number 2, you have Mr. Swerve Strickland. And then number 1, you have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, your WWE champion.
I wouldn't have been mad if they would have had Swerve number 1.
Swerve's had a hell of a year.
He really had.
Headline both. I'm not mad at the list. I mean, you could switch a little stuff. I'm not a big Naito fan like that, but he's still the champion over there. Priest, I'm still not completely sold on him. Fans have come around a little bit. I feel like he's still hanging on Rhea Ripley's coattail a little bit, but I mean, world champion. Yeah, I'm not like upset about this list. I don't know about your thoughts on it.
Where's my boy Jey Uso at?
Come on, bro.
He better be in the top 20.
I don't know. I just have the top 10 in front of me. Hey, should he though? I mean, you got his daddy complaining online about his positioning. I'm sorry. I mean, he's a Mercer. He's still super over, but he's like him and LA Knight are like in that same. Except LA Knight actually has a belt. They're like
How dare you?
in that same position, super over, but not
Ah,
being. Where is he?
number 17.
No, that's still top 20. So
That's what I said. As long as he's you know, for a guy that was a tag team wrestler that's never won a singles belt, it's pretty fucking good.
yeah, I mean he's challenging for the IC belts, and I suspect him to lose that match. But
Oh, this list is shit.
what?
You got Eddie Kingston at number 20 ahead of
He's been
Okada.
injured. He's been injured like the whole year, basically.
Yeah, it's also
Oh
so
yeah, the
the
parameters are
evaluation
June.
period is August
Yeah,
1st, 2023 through July 31st of this past year. So that's why I don't understand Damian Priest being so high or MJF because MJF was out a lot of that time.
but he was the champion for half that period. He didn't lose it till World's End.
And then he was gone.
Gone for like 4 months and came
Yeah.
back. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm not.
Notable people that are Jay Uso are ahead of. And you got Brian Danielson at number 14. Like, come on, get out of here. Jey Uso's number 17. Let's go through some notable people he's ahead of. Okada at number 20.
Mhm.
Edge at number 26. LA Knight number 27. Look at Trick Willie at 28. Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
For NXT, that's really fun. Oh man, that makes me happy seeing Trick that high.
I can't remember. I think Okada's a little bit high for that. He hadn't really just been chilling in AEW, and then he had that match with Osprey in New Japan, and that's parameters. So he had that half of it was New Japan. Well,
I mean,
name some other people.
this could be recency bias, but they got Speedball Mike Bailey at 34. I feel like he should be higher.
Yeah, he should be. He should be higher.
Logan Paul at 37.
He should maybe even. He doesn't wrestle that often though, but I wouldn't be mad if he was higher just for what
Hangman
he does.
Page at 42.
Yeah, he's been gone. They actually followed their rules with that one because he's been gone. He
Josh
recently came.
Alexander at 43.
He could be higher. He could be higher.
Uh,
He's been injured. He was injured though, so that's probably
yeah.
a good spot for him.
They clearly don't believe in Joe Hendry because he's at number 51.
Not mad at him being lower.
Braun Breaker at 52.
He could probably be higher because he's been consistent. Where's Roman at?
That's a good
Definitely
question.
top 20. You probably passed him in the top 20.
I don't. I'm gonna have to scroll slow because I don't see Roman.
I don't know if you're on a computer. Hit Control F.
Wait, maybe they got like a disclaimer in here because
Why is he? A lot of people have been out just as long as he was out.
I'm in the top 50 and he's not on here yet.
Nah, that can't be right.
Yeah, this list is shit.
Hold on. I'm gonna look for it right now. Oh, he's not on the list. You're right.
He's not on the list at all?
No.
Get the fuck out of here.
He was around. That's basically from SummerSlam to SummerSlam. He was around for a good bit. If I'm
He
not.
beat Jay Uso last year at SummerSlam. And then what did he do after that? Yeah, I guess he really didn't do much after that. He had the match with who did he wrestle at Royal Rumble? Was that Sammy? No, that was the year before.
That was the year before. I don't know if he wrestled anyone at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Roman didn't really wrestle much last year.
He didn't do Survivor Series. That was the Judgment Days Survivor Series. He did the Mania. Huh.
Yeah, because if you remember, there was rumors about him being injured in that Jey Uso match. So he did a lot of talking and didn't do a lot of wrestling. Where's The Rock at? He beat Cody. He beat the number one guy on here.
Roman did wrestle at Royal Rumble though. That 4-way with LA Knight, AJ, and Randy.
Yeah. That's crazy. They don't have Roman on the list.
I'm sure they'll probably explain it, even though it's probably still shit why they left him off. But these lists are subjective, so
Yeah, I mean, when you do 500 people, you start to get into the weeds of like you just kind of putting people on there that other people don't know. I don't know. I think a top 50 would be really good, but Obafemi at 53, hell yeah,
I get why they do 500 though, because you got like,
that's a lot, man.
yeah, it's a lot, but I'm sure they have their little trust or whatever, their talking, their brain system or whatever. A lot of people that they,
Where the fuck is Sting at?
yeah, should have just did it just as a nod to him, just for the. But I get why they do 500 though, because you got a lot of these indie promotions on like the lower half of it, and like if you're a wrestler busting your ass and you've been putting work, it might give you a little feather in your cap, put a little morale in yourself if you make it, in that 500. So I'm not mad at that part of it, but it is a
Chris
lot.
Chris Bay at 148, Bobby Lashley at 197.
Bobby's barely wrestling, man. I don't even think it's his
Sting's got to
fault.
be on the list. He was undefeated.
He did leave undefeated. Sting
Damn, they
might
got
be,
Pentagon Jr. at 236.
hey, from what the birds are chattering, he might be, you know, WWE bound. So
I thought he re-signed.
nah, no re-signing.
You sure?
I think that's one of the reasons why Pac is running with BCC now.
They've got women on the fucking list.
I thought they had a separate list for women.
No, they've got Max the Impaler's a woman, is it not?
Maybe she wrestles men. I know sometimes they
Alley
do it like that.
Alley Catch is on here at 245.
Do they wrestle men? Jessica Troy, I see on here, whoever that is. Yeah, I don't know.
How the fuck is Sting not on here?
I don't know, man. But
Shelton
that's
Benjamin at 318.
yeah, Sting ain't on there. I just did a quick search.
Ricky Starks at 352. Seriously?
Well, we hadn't seen him in forever. Holograms on the list, huh?
There's a motherfucker on here named Cheeseburger.
Eddie
Is that
Edwards
that
on
little
the
black
list.
dude from ROH back in the day?
I have no clue. Uh, Ciampa's in the middle of the list. He's just was your tag team champion.
Yeah, but that was after the
Yeah, the parameters.
Oh shit, Ashton Starr's on here.
Who?
Ashton Starr, he's an indie wrestler here in Georgia. Gay guy.
Okay, shout out
It's
to him, man.
I posted a picture. I ran into him and AC Mack at the Meg Thee Stallion concert, and I took a picture with him.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
He's the one that
Yeah,
had the long braids. He's been on AEW and stuff like that before.
shout out to him, man. Hopefully, he gets signed somewhere on national level.
Allison K's on here. Sierra.
Yeah, I don't know the criteria because I could have swore they did a separate women's list, or maybe that's Wrestling Observer. I don't know.
No, they do it. They do a women's top 250.
Hey, I'm not mad at it though. Like, have women on both lists. I don't care.
Yeah. The criteria is win-loss record, championships won, quality of competition, major feuds, prominence within a wrestler's promotion, overall wrestling ability, with the evaluation period being August 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2024. And again, your top 10, Cody Rhodes, Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins, Naito, Damian Priest, MJF, John Moxley, Gunther, and Mystico.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
who should have been higher?
I feel like why they gotta be complicated? Like, why don't they just do it from calendar year to calendar year? I feel like it's more simple. How we remember shit anyway.
Yeah. I definitely think Moose should have been higher at number 15. He was the TNA world champion for a lot of that period.
Yeah, that's what I liked about WCW. Like, Starcade was in December, end of the year. Start the new year January.
Yeah, instead of fucking WrestleMania being in goddamn April.
Yeah, But it gets people talking. I know Wrestling Observer does their list too, so we'll be talking again once that comes out. Just cool, just water cooler talk.
Cody Rhodes is on the cover of this year's PWI magazine with a wardrobe designed by the great JD Hoop.
That's
And
what's up.
speaking of wardrobes, EJ, we're just segueing like a motherfucker here. Let's get to Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week.
Who you got for Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week?
Marina Shafir.
Oh man, I feel like I was in a Discord chat talking about her. I'm like, hey, I feel like Mrs. Roderick Strong is kind of slept on, man.
She just looks like a badass walking around with Moxley, right? Am I crazy? Like, I don't like her when she wrestles, but something about her look lately, she just looks, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's like the Wish version of like a China, just a silent, killer or whatever. I'm digging it so far, so hopefully they don't go left with it and they just keep it going, just keep it building up like that. I'm not mad at that.
I changed my pick.
Who's your pick?
We're going to wipe that from the start. We're going to restart everything. I'm not going to edit this, but we're going to go all the way back. All right, you ready? Let's do Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week, EJ.
Who is your Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week?
Did you watch NXT this week?
I did.
Did you see Jordan Grace walking into the arena?
I did, but I can't remember.
Did you see Trick Willie pulling up, walking into the arena?
I did, but I can't remember how he pulled up.
There was somebody in the background.
Oh, I know.
Everybody that pulled up.
Jada Parker was with a bat.
Hey, Miss Parker. Miss Jada Parker is my Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week. Honorable mention with Trick Williams, though. Trick looks like a fucking star.
Yeah. I'm scared of what they would do with him with the main roster, but I haven't win that belt because I'm not feeling all ego like that. I know you like him, but he's just been, he's not been bad, but he's just kind of like a transitional champion to me.
He's got those 1990 serial killer glasses on now.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm sure they're gonna do something fun when they go to Chicago and then St. Louis, which I will not be going to because I'm sticking to my word. No more wrestling events for this year. But yeah, like you said, hi, Miss Parker. What Chris Tucker
Jada
say?
Parker she was dressed.
What Chris Parker say? When you gonna let me, Miss Parker?
What you say, huh? Nothing.
Well, yeah.
As a matter of fact, the Ice Cube quote goes great with this. She know what she doing with them little ass shorts on.
Is that what she had on in the parking lot?
Oh yeah.
Real short. Okay. Hey, Parker. My pick. It's kind of a nostalgia pick. I know this probably might throw you for a loop, but I'm going with my guy Bret Hart, man.
I'm laughing because when I was thinking about this earlier, I thought about picking Bret Hart.
Great minds think alike. He kept it, like the uncle or the dad. He had the button down on. I don't know my screen. It looked maroon, might have been some type of pink, but then he had the jeans and the dad shoes on. I'm like, it looked appropriate, man.
Flannel. He's Canadian. It's cold outside in Canada. Motherfucker just got done chopping down trees and shit.
Shout out to Bret Hart, man. That kind of hit me in the feels though. Like, I hate being nostalgic and all. And I'm like, man, I remember him watching him as a kid. Now he's just an old motherfucker. He's just old, but at least he's still here with us.
I swear to God, it's like we got the same brain right now talking about Bret Hart. I was watching that and I thought, oh my God. Like, I remember when he first broke out of the Hart Foundation and he was first winning singles titles. Like, I was thinking about all this while I was watching it. I was like, now he can barely get in the fucking ring. He's gray. Like, he doesn't even look like the same fucking guy anymore. And I was just sitting here thinking, like, fuck, I'm getting old then. Because if I can remember him way back then, and now this is what he looks like, yeah, it was kind of kicking the nuts.
And he was like our age in his mid-30s, 40s back then. So But that's life. We all have to go through it. But that's why
Yep.
I gave him my street clothes rest of the week. Bret Hart.
Mm. Now we'll move on to our power rankings.
Power rankings. Since I guess you started off street clothes rest of the week, I'll kick off these power rankings. My number 5. I have Chris Statlander. Like we talked about earlier, big win on All Out. One of my favorite matches on the card. Got it over Willow Nightingale, and see what she does next because she's already been a TBS champion. I doubt they will have her feud with Mariah May, but they've been doing better jobs of telling stories with the woman without titles. So I'm curious to see what they go with her next. So that's my number 5, Chris Statlander.
My number 4, your new number 1 contender to the NXT World Championship, Trick Williams. Whoop that trick.
Fun match, last man standing.
Good ending to it. That was original.
Yeah, with the whole Ethan Page involved with
Yeah.
it too.
I really like that. NXT, I'm telling you, NXT's been consistently the best show on TV the past year.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue against that. Like, it's like the, little secret. I mean, people are watching it, so yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see like what happens when they go to CW. I'm thinking it'll probably be steady. It's that's network TV though, so yeah, like you said, consistently with the storytelling and NXT's always got they call it with all the ladies they got a lot of different puns for what they call NXT. So.
Yeah, I got some things I call it.
Yeah, so some people call it NXTNA, and that's the only one I'll say on here.
Well, I mean, that's because TNA shows up.
Yeah, that's why they call it that. But
Is it not? I thought that was.
before
I thought that was because of the crossover.
For the crossover, and I'll leave it at that.
Number 4. My number 4, I'm gonna pick. I'll go with Statlander.
Okay. I can't remember your stance on Statlander. I think you weren't a big Statlander fan.
I like her and I don't like her.
She just looks like $1 million, man.
She does.
I like her.
Every time I start to like her, she'll do something or something will happen with her booking that'll just like turn me off. But her with Stokely, ever since they've turned on Willow, like I've been a big fan.
Some of it's been booking, but she's been injury prone too in the past, but she's been more healthy lately.
She wasn't the nicest when I saw her at WrestleCade, but whatever.
That would put her down on my list. Like if you're a dick in person, and
no, so let me tell you what I was in the hallway in the convention center there, and she walked by, and I was like, "Oh shit, it's Chris Statland." Now, before she had got close to me, she had probably passed 100 other basement fills that were probably like fucking with her and got pissed off. So she probably was just in the mode of ignoring people, or she was just an asshole. Who knows?
Hey, that's almost exactly. I told that story on here. That's almost exactly the identical to my story when I was going out of Wally Mania. I'm like, oh shit, it's Alicia Edwards, but she was hammered, so maybe that played into it. Should have said something to Gail Kim. I didn't say anything to Gail Kim, who was with her.
I've had a run-in with Alicia Edwards, also not a run-in, but at WrestleCade, I stayed at WrestleCade is at the Marriott. Across the street is the Embassy Suite. I stayed at the Embassy Suite. I didn't know this, but a lot of the wrestlers stayed at the Embassy and not the Marriott. So I'm going over and my girlfriend's drunk because we've been out like bar hopping and shit. And we get back, she's trying to buy a couple noodles to eat. And Alicia Edwards is in line in front of us with Eddie Edwards. Drunk as fuck. What old folks you say? Drunken Cooter Brown. Like they are so fucking drunk. And I don't fuck with people out in public. Like, I know it's cool, you're wrestlers the whole nine, but like if we're in a hotel checking in, like I'm not about to fuck with you. Now when I said what was up with Statlander, it was at a fucking wrestling convention. Like you were supposed to be on then. But yeah, Alicia Edwards, she's a drinker, that one.
Yeah, because like this wasn't even a contact. We weren't even inside a while, man. We were like a block because I was waiting for my Uber and I just happened to see her and like it was just literally us three on the corner. I'm like, it's Alicia Edwards. She like look at me drunkenly and then say me. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I
I mean,
proceeded to
she's probably just like,
she
you know,
stared at me and just gave me an awkward stare and I'm like, oh, whatever. And I just
maybe
went
she
about
thought
my
you were handsome. EJ and was like, I need to fucking go home because I'm married.
don't be putting that false information in the air. I should have said hi with Gail Kim, who was like helping make sure she didn't fall.
Gail Kim is fucking gorgeous in
Yes,
person.
she was. Yes, she was. But yeah, it's whatever. But yes, yeah, I don't like that interaction with Chris Statlander, especially like I don't know. I got this weird thing like when they're younger than me, like who are you? Like I've been on this planet longer than you. Like I'm not gonna be sitting around kissing your ass like that, you young
I feel
buck.
you, but I also like it was annoying at the time, but when I like a couple minutes later I stepped back and looked at the situation, like she had probably been like yelled at and hey, it's Chris Statlander, like the whole walk over there, and she's trying to get to the fucking bathroom. So eventually it's like you just got to turn it off and ignore everybody and fucking walk. So I'm not gonna say she was a dick. I'm just gonna say I was like, hey, Chris Statlander, because she was injured back then, and this was like she was walking fine, no knee brace. So I was kind of like, hell yeah, she's coming back soon because I'm a fan. And for her to just ignore it and keep on walking, I
Okay,
felt some type of way about it, but I also get it too.
you could get it, but let me preface this. It's not like she's Taylor Swift. Hey, Chris Statlander, you're not asking for autographs. She said, "Oh, hey, wave and keep it moving." Like
I
it's gonna
feel
be
you.
one day where nobody knows who the fuck you are, and that might be sooner than
Also,
later.
also, a motherfucker like me walking around WrestleCade to the other motherfuckers that are there, the least you could do is smile.
Yeah, she didn't have to
I'm not
stop.
fucking, I'm not fucking creepy Mama's basement Phil, whatever the fuck we call him, neckbeard Phil.
Smelling like cottage cheese.
Right.
Uh,
You could be like, oh shit, a normal human being. Hey, how's it going? Well, you know who was like that? We're just name dropping like crazy. When I went to was it Revolution that Sting debuted at in Jacksonville? What was in no, it was Double or Nothing. That was in Jacksonville right after COVID.
yeah,
And the hotel we were staying at had ants in it. And
yeah.
I had to get a different room and it had ants in that room. So
You
I checked out and I went to the Marriott.
you bumped into Britt Baker there, and Tony Khan were like drinking bottles and shit together.
Yeah, but you know who was the nicest fucking person this side of like Mickey James and Lisa Marie Verone was Serena Deeb.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah,
I would have
fucking
think she
check
would have been a bitch though.
man. No,
Pardon my
checking into
language.
we were going to check into the hotel and Eddie Kingston was outside in the hotel parking lot like smoking cigarettes and yelling at people and shit. And other wrestlers are coming and going and they were like, you know, again, they're not on. They're just fucking they're trying to get to where they're going. Like people are staying in the hotels fucking with them. Serena Deeb was standing outside and we were walking by and I'm a polite person when I'm in person. If we make eye contact, I'm gonna speak to you. She spoke to me first. She was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I was just like, "I'm good. How you doing?" And like, it was like a 30-second interaction, but it was way nicer than what it had to be. Like, she didn't have to be as polite as she was. She to me, she just came off like a very sweet person.
But you know why though? This is her like second win. She was with CM Punk in the Straight Edge Society, and she got released. So she probably was like Chris Statlander during the WWE run, and she said that she probably noticed that this could be all taken away from me, and she's grateful for the second run. Chris Statlander will learn one day.
You could be right, but I didn't take it like that. I took it like if you're out at a bar drinking, you have bitchy people and you have people that are nice. And she came off like just one of the nicer people. Like it didn't come off like an act. It came off like that was her personality. We made eye contact. She spoke and asked how I was doing, and then, you know, had a 30-second conversation. I felt like if we wanted to, we probably could have stood there and talked to her for longer. But again, I don't like bothering people when they're not at work. If I see wrestlers outside of it, like I'm not gonna fuck with you.
Yeah. I mean, you never could judge a book by its cover because I would have thought Serena Dean would be kind of standoffish, but like you said, she was nice. Man, I haven't had like a whole bunch of interactions with a lot of wrestlers, but when we went to Royal Rumble, you were there. I was just chilling, hanging out with Matt Riddle. I know he's polarizing now, especially with everything, but he was just a normal dude, and he's just like his on-screen character. He was like, "What's up, dude?" And we were talking about UFC together because I was talking about I didn't want to talk wrestling. I was talking his UFC career, and then you and me were just chilling with uh not Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins.
Angelo
We
Dawkins,
were
yeah.
just chilling with him in the hallway, and he was just kicking it like a normal dude.
Yeah. We got I think Miranda Gordy, Terry Gordy's daughter, fucking photobombed
Yeah,
us and we were taking a picture together. Yeah, we had a good time in St. Louis, even though it was a fucking shithole of a town.
hey man, you and the Kansas City people don't get along with the St. Louis folks.
Fuck St. Louis. St. Louis is trash.
Yeah, man. But like you said,
What
you
number are
could.
we on? I did miss the number. I think it's on
Well,
you.
now, you had Trick Williams, and then you had Statlander as your number 4.
Yep.
I wrote my list ahead of time, so like I said, I guess great minds think alike. I had Trick Williams at my number 4, and you already talked about it. Last man standing match, and he's your number 1 contender, and hopefully he wins in Chicago. I'm hoping. My number 3, Okada, man. I think this is one of his better matches in AEW. He's just been chilling, basically collecting the check. I think they're gonna heat him up eventually. You gotta take time, but they haven't been doing a whole lot with him. He's in the elite. But good 4-way match between him and Takeshita, OC, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe. So that's my number 3.
My number 3, now you're number 1 contender for the WWE Intercontinental Champion. Yeet! Main event Jey Uso. My number 2, even though it didn't count, Hangman Adam Page. Big time win over Swerve, who I think should have been number 1 in PWI 500. Sorry, Cody. But he got a big time win over Swerve. He finally got his one back. And now he's running around beating the fuck out of Jeff Jarrett for no reason. And I can't be more happy about it. Like, they just turned this guy babyface.
I didn't get. They did it during the Owen tournament. It just doesn't sit right with my soul because he's been a lifelong heel. I can't remember a time Jeff Jarrett's been a face, and it just feels weird. But yeah, I don't like babyface Jeff Jarrett. But that was your number 2.
Yep, Hangman.
My number 2 is the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. Big win over Pac. That's my favorite match of the night. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be Dave Meltzer, but we're getting close to the end of the year. And when we do our year-end awards, it's probably going to be a lot of Ospreay matches on that list. Because, like, the same. But, Rucker always has the power to veto and put his favorite matches, and we weed him down. But on my short list, he occupies a lot of it. So
yeah,
I got Will Ospreay, my number 2. Go ahead.
I mean, it could be because I was there, but that match with Takeshita was probably my favorite match of his. But then I did see him and Kyle Fletcher also, but that match with Takeshita at Revolution, being there in person, and again, the vibe that you're in creates the feeling of it too, right? Like it Sting's last match, like you're there in Greensboro. I've never been there before. I remembered it when it was WCW. Like all that shit's packed into it. Then this motherfucker got the nerve to put on a banger.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think Ospreay is definitely going to be in a lot of match of the year topics this year.
Revolution, that's definitely going to be on the card of the year discussion. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Being there, it heightens it. But I was there for him and Danielson. I was in the building there. So him to catch that's like how both gave me, that feeling. But that Danielson match in person was insane as well. So we're creeping there. So we'll get to there once we do the end of the year awards. But my number one was your number two, I think, or three. Hangman Page wasn't official, but he finally got the visual win over our boy Swerve. And I feel like Swerve's gonna take a little break. I'm not mad at that. Refresh, get a huge pop whenever he pops back up.
My number one, Bryan Danielson.
Oh, really? Huh.
World title. Won. Got jumped, obviously. But he did defend the world title 2 weeks after beating Swerve. That's not. Swerve lost twice in 2 weeks. Bryan Danielson won twice in 2 weeks.
And that was a solid match. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Jack Perry fan, but that was a solid match. And we didn't even talk about Mercedes. I thought that was a good match too, but like you said, she's got to change that finisher because that just makes the good match. She had a good match with Sheeta, but that makes the match fall flat with that finisher.
Yeah.
With a really solid, good match with her and Sheeta.
I don't know if you've been paying attention to social media. If she would have worn on TV what she wore at that movie premiere where she was hanging out with Bailey, she would have been Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week for like the whole year.
Oh man, I gotta go watch it.
I encourage you and everybody listening, if you're a fan of really good looking women in dress clothes, go seek out Mercedes and Bailey at whatever movie premiere they were at. And I'm not even a fan of Bailey, but even Bailey was looking right at that movie premiere. That's all I'll say about that, to not come off creepy.
And this will be old by next week. So we don't have because it's getting late early and we still have to pick our NFL picks, but let's talk about it for like a minute. What about Kevin Nash and Logan Paul going back at it? I thought that was pretty fascinating.
I hadn't seen any of this. I
Really?
saw this in the notes and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh man, this is like been the top. I know you're a working man and you have kids, but Kevin Nash went on a podcast and was like going off on Logan Paul for some reason. He was hating on him. He was like, I don't know why they paying him $5 million. He's not one of the boys. Like, where would you learn that shit at? He's like, where he's going up and down, talking jargon in the building. He's like, I don't care how many followers you have. He's like, if I was one of the boys, I would say something in the backstage and say, fuck you, man. Then Logan Paul responded. He was like, I don't even know who Kevin Nash is, but I'm better than he was ever at wrestling, and I don't even do it full time. If I were to do it full time, I'd be great. I think Logan Paul is doing it somewhat in character, but somewhat of a shoot. But I like his response.
So going off of what you just told me, as far as Logan Paul goes, you know who fucking Kevin Nash is. You're a wrestling fan. Like, shut the fuck up. He was a founding member of the NWO. There ain't no goddamn way you don't know who Kevin Nash is. So fuck off. And I like Logan Paul.
He was trolling, but I like it. I like him saying that because he was trolling. Because, like you said, obviously he knows who Kevin Nash is.
But Kevin Nash, normally I'm team Kevin Nash because Kevin Nash is one of the people who, outside of wrestling, has beliefs that I kind of agree with, and he's not afraid to talk about it. But shut the fuck up, Kevin. You're a hypocrite right here. Because you went to WCW chasing the bag and you got the bag from WCW. You cannot hate on Logan Paul if Triple H decides to give him a shitload of money and he takes it. Not to mention, you can say whatever you want about Logan Paul. People hate on him for different reasons. I don't know everything about. I know there's controversy involved in him. I know he's from Twitch and YouTube and all that. But when that goddamn bell rings, that motherfucker can go. And if Kevin Nash can't respect that and is hating just because he didn't ride fucking 24 hours in a car and wrestle 310 days a year like they used to do back in the... Shut up. Because you went and got guaranteed contracts and you picked your dates and didn't wrestle as much. Like, this is well documented. He said it himself. He went to WCW because it was a lazier deal with more money. You can't be mad then at somebody else 20 some odd years later coming in and taking advantage of their name the same way you did. Because you were Diesel in WWF. You took advantage of your name in WCW where they had you dressing up like a fucking Wizard of Oz character. And Vinny Vegas when you were in WCW the first time, you went and made a name for yourself and came back and got paid. And again, I'm a big Kevin Nash fan. Like I love Kevin Nash, inside the ring and outside the ring. But in this instance, man, shut up. Just shut up.
That's not much for me to add. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. But I will say, like you said, most of the people on Twitter and their responses just said what you said. He had a lesser schedule in WCW, so it's the pot calling the kettle black. And also, you probably Kevin Nash, not you. Kevin Nash probably has something to do with the booking of David Arquette being champion. So I don't want to hear it.
Right.
He was booking back then. So yeah, I don't want to hear it. That's all. We can move on to picks.
Kevin Nash, another wrestler I had good run-ins with before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
When I worked at Publix.
Oh yeah, you told me about that story. Yeah.
Yeah. There used to be a really gorgeous woman that used to come in. We would all fight over bagging her groceries. And one day I won the fight and I was bagging paper or plastic. She said plastic. And I'm bagging and this fucking shadow comes over the top of me. And I look up and it's Kevin Nash standing there. Oh shit, it's Big Sexy the Giant Killer.
What year was this?
90. Oh shit. I was 16. So it'd be 98.
Oh, so he's on fire.
Yeah. She used to come in I'm talking, bro. When she would come in, all the bag boys would be like, she's here. Be alert, look alert. And we'd all try to get on her aisle or whatever when she would come in. I mean, she was gorgeous. And then of course, the Subway story I told the time before that. But yeah. So
hold up. What happened when I don't think I heard a Subway story. I didn't hear the public story. What happened? Like, what did you say to him when he came in public?
I didn't say a goddamn thing. He was standing over the top of me and I was trying to fucking bag his wife groceries and take them outside. I didn't say shit. I looked up and just looked at him and I was like, oh, it's Kevin Nash. And he's, what's up? And that was it. And I kept on fucking bagging, put the eggs and the bread on top of each other and made sure I didn't break nothing.
What you said, Subway though?
At Subway, he came in multiple times. There's one time he came in and the new Isley Brothers that R. Kelly produced
what
Isley
the hell
Brothers
is
CD.
Going on?
Yeah, we had that shit blasted. We had a CD player in the back, and he came in. He's like, "Is that the Isley Brothers?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the new one." He's like, "That shit sounds good." I'm like, "You know the Isley Brothers?" He's like, "Yeah, I know the Isley Brothers." You know, Kevin Nash is like 10, 15 years older than me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I know the Isley Brothers. Actually, he's probably older. It's probably 20 years older than me.
He's my dad's age, 58.
Yeah.
I want to say he's born or something like that.
And then the time before that, my buddy Leif, he was sitting in the back, and I was telling him like, yeah, wrestlers come in here all the time. And he's like, yeah, like who? I'm like, Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio. Like I've met a lot. He's like, you never met Kevin Nash. And no shit, as he says that, you hear the doorbell go off.
What?
I don't say shit because he's got his back turned to the door, so I don't say anything. And I go up and I'm making Kevin Nash's fucking Subway sandwich. And I see my buddy turn around and look, and his fucking eyes pop at his head, and he's just like, he wants to be like, "Oh my God, it's Kevin Nash," but he can't fucking talk because he's fucking starstruck.
Yeah, that's back when stars were less accessible, so like it was a big deal back then.
Yeah. Well, where we lived in Kennesaw, that's like 20 minutes north of CNN Center, and so a lot of wrestlers lived out here. Like we had a place called Speed Zone, which I think the closest comparison I could think of now would be like an Andretti Motor Speedway. Have you seen those?
Andretti, the Speedway? Huh.
It's like a go-kart place. It was an outdoor go-kart place.
Yeah.
It had go-karts, it had miniature golf and like arcade games. And we ran into Rey Mysterio there, Buff Bagwell, Scott Steiner. Like it felt like every weekend we go out, we run into a wrestler there.
Well, fun times, man. And you probably didn't have. That's back when you didn't have a camera in your pocket, so you couldn't even take pictures.
Nah, there was no cameras back then. No camera phone. You had them little fucking Polaroid fucking disposable cameras if you wanted. But who the fuck was carrying that around?
Nobody.
You know what I carried around back then, EJ? A pen in case I needed a girl's phone number.
Probably some condoms in your wallet.
Well, yeah. Shouldn't say some. I had one. That motherfucker was so old because it never got used when I was young. Eventually it expired and I had to fucking replace it with another one.
It'd be like ones in those plastic and then ones in the paper. The paper ones used to always look beat up, and I think it's the Trojans with a paper one. It used to be, lifestyles were in the plastic.
This is so random, but like the sex talk that my mom had with me, she literally walked in my room one day, threw a box of condoms on my bed while I was standing there and said, "Don't get anybody pregnant," and closed the door. That was that was sex talk.
It worked. You didn't get pregnant until it was
No,
time to.
I didn't use those condoms though because I didn't want her to know I was having sex. I went and got my own condoms.
Nah, nobody. I think my dad definitely didn't have to talk. He should have been having to talk with me, but my dad's pretty stoic. He doesn't talk about stuff like that. I feel like my mom randomly talked about that, like on random trips, like when we were going down the road, but not as serious. She's like, "You just better not be getting one of these little girls pregnant," stuff like that. I never had the official talk or nothing like that, so I had
Little
to go
fast
in.
ass girls.
Yeah, exactly. I had to go into like the Walmarts, and this is before they were locked behind the counter. You could just walk in them, and like this was like the early day. No, this is before the self checkout. That was a game changer. It didn't have to be awkward when you went to self checkout, but this is right before self checkout. I went to the line. I'm like, man, they're gonna say something. So I used to just buy a lot of stuff and just like throw it in there. So like they would just swipe it and then I have to hear them like say anything. So I'd buy like a few things just because I was like 16 or
How
so.
how crazy is that, right? Like, you used to be embarrassed to buy condoms, but if you think about it, it's like, yeah, I'm having sex. But for whatever reason, when you were buying condoms, it was like an embarrassing thing. Like you didn't, like you would go by and look at them and try to pick out the right one, but you didn't want anybody to see you were fucking looking at them. Like buying condoms was fucking a bashful experience back then.
Yeah. 90s and 2000s, right?
Man, I hope you motherfuckers are still buying condoms.
I don't know, man. People with the day the world is, I don't think people are, man. People just raw dogging.
I mean, they do suck, but
Uh, yeah. Wrap it up, people.
we're gonna wrap up this conversation and get to our NFL picks, EJ. Last week, you got the record pulled up?
I put in the chat just the picks. I have a different one I'm looking at with the actual tallies, but I put one in the chat just so I'm not bullshitting you. But last week one, it was close until like the last two games. Like we were neck and neck, but I pulled ahead a little bit. I went 13-3. You went 11-5 because some reason you had faith in Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why you picked that guy. You just don't like the 49ers that much, but it is what it is.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers either, though.
But I'm a little bit ahead, so it's still pretty even. It can go either way. And it's
Let's
a
get
game
to this
happening
one.
right now. But I don't think it's probably about to start. So let's pick that before it actually gets kicked off.
We got Buffalo at Miami at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, 5 minutes from now as we record this. Tickets as low as $96 at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami.
That's not bad, especially Miami. I got the Dolphins.
Ooh, this is a hard one because I don't think Buffalo's going to make the playoffs this year.
Well,
Sorry, Jeff from Fully Postable, if you're listening. I'm going to pick Miami.
okay. Start off on the same page.
Then we have New Orleans traveling to Dallas. New Orleans scored 47 points last week against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I was surprised by that because, my boy Spencer Rattler, he's the backup for Derek Carr. So I'm like, Derek Carr, he's always playing back. Hopefully he plays shitty so my boy gets some time. But no, he was slinging it out there.
Lowest ticket price for this game to get an actual seat, not standing room only, $143 to sit in section 429. That's actually not bad.
Still though, man. Yeah, this is like these ticket prices. Something has to give, but it is what it is, I guess. Well, I mean,
Give me
Rucker.
America's team.
Rucker as a Cowboys, and like I said, I'm objective, but until they give me a reason not to pick them, I'm going with my Cowboys as well.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Detroit to take on the Lions at 1 o'clock at Ford Field. Ticket price as low as $94. Why am I giving the ticket price?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Good information, I guess, if people want to go. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, you didn't have faith in them last week, but you do this week. I'm gonna go with the Lions as well.
The Indianapolis Colts, Anthony Richardson with the best pass of the week. Did you see that pass?
No, but I had him on my fantasy team. I don't know if it's the Carls League. It is the Carls League, and I sat his ass on the bench, and I'm pissed.
This motherfucker, he was getting blitz from the right, and he rolled to his left, squatted down, and just heaved the ball up 60 yards on a fucking rope into it wasn't double covers. The guy won his route, but you got to go back and see this pass. It was, and they got it from different angles too to like show you how good. This is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, he's going up against the Green Bay Packers, either with or without Jordan Love. Have we decided if he's? Have they decided if he's playing or not?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's at Green Bay. Ticket price as low as $81. I'm gonna pick the Colts.
Yeah, well, you give me that information. I'm going with the Colts as well.
The New York Jets travel to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Tickets as low as $36 to see Aaron Rodgers, the quote unquote greatest quarterback to ever play football.
This is at Tennessee?
At Nashville.
So you told me Tannehill's still quarterback. It's Will Levis from Kentucky that's the quarterback.
Didn't Tannehill get hurt?
I don't think he's not in the league anymore.
Oh, okay.
But I would have still, whatever pick I had, I wouldn't have changed my pick because Levis, Tannehill, all the same thing. Shit. Who am I gonna pick with this one? What time is this game?
1 o'clock.
I'm trying to look because I got a schedule because I'm writing down our picks. I'm trying to look at where this is at on the schedule. I do not see it. Jets and Titans.
CBS, 1 o'clock.
Well, it's probably right in front of my face, but I don't see it. But shit. I guess I'll go with the Titans.
Both these teams are 0-1 over the past 20 years. Starting out 0-2 basically guarantees you to not get into the playoffs. So one of these teams will not make the playoffs statistically after this week. I'm going to go with the Titans also.
Ooh, so you're saying A-Rod is going to miss the playoffs. Statistically speaking.
Yeah. San Francisco takes on Minnesota in U.S. Bank of America Stadium in Minnesota. Ticket price as low as $106.
49ers and Vikings?
Yeah, I'm going to go with San Francisco.
I got San Francisco. They didn't even have C-Mac, and they beat the brakes off of the Jets. But it's probably a combination of the Jets just being that bad, too. But, yeah, the Vikings, I don't trust Sam Darnold.
The Seahawks travel to Gillette Stadium to take on the New England Patriots at Foxborough. Ticket price as low as $108.
Hey, I got New England. You made a believer in me. We picked differently this game for whoever they faced last week. I got New England winning at home.
Did New England win their last game?
Yeah, they did. I didn't think they were. They beat they beat the Bengals.
Yeah, they're losing to Seattle.
All right, so this is the first time we got different picks.
Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, the shit bowl. The New York Giants travel to Washington to take on the Commanders. Ugh.
I don't know who to pick of this one, to be honest.
Tickets as low as who gives a fuck. I'm going to take the Commanders of Washington.
I was just about to say I'm picking the Commanders. I don't know why. Both of these teams suck. But Commanders got an excuse. They got a rookie quarterback. What's your excuse, New York?
They got a shitty quarterback.
Pretty much.
The Chargers of Los Angeles travel to Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers. You can get in the house, EJ, for $23.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Old school ticket prices. That's what the Jags tickets used to be when I lived in Jacksonville about 10 plus years ago. But we know why. That was just an awful performance by the Panthers. That's why I'm going with the Chargers.
Chargers also. Cleveland, fresh off that ass whooping they got from Dallas, travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. You can get a ticket in the Jaguars Stadium for $35.
Yeah, that's the ticket prices that I remember. They're not a bad team, even though they lost against Miami. Huh. Hey.
Trevor Lawrence versus Bill Cosby.
That's a whole topic for a different story. How he just flew under the radar, and now he's playing shitty, and now you're starting to hear rumblings. But I digress. For some reason, I don't see that. Like I did a screenshot of like all the games, and that game is not on there either. So I go back. I wrote down the Titans one. I write down this one. I got Jacksonville.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville as well. The Las Vegas Raiders, my favorite city. If I didn't love the Cowboys, I'd probably be a Raiders fan now. Travel to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP. You can get in the house to see this game for as little as $106 at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. Never been to Baltimore in my life.
I did for the first time when I went through the airport, but that doesn't really count. I got driven to the airport, so it's not like I just went through the airport. I was briefly in Baltimore, so I can't really say I really did any sightseeing. But no, I don't have a big interest in doing that. If I do it, it'll happen, but I don't have like, a dying need to go to Baltimore. And who they're facing, I don't see this game on here either.
Las Vegas Raiders, both teams at 0-1. So again, that stat was starting out at 0-2 and not making the playoffs. Now, I don't know how accurate that stat is now that there's 17 games, but I feel like Baltimore, if they go 0-2, oof, I don't want them to, because then they got Dallas for week 3 and they'll come out fucking desperate.
Yeah, I got Baltimore.
Yeah, I think Baltimore will beat Las Vegas. Vegas doesn't really have a quarterback.
Yeah, that's rough. Gardner Minshew. Ugh.
The Los Angeles Rams travel to Arizona to take on Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., who's already complaining about not getting the ball. At State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. EJ, if you want to go to this game, you can get into the building for $18.
Wow. Damn. That's a nice city, Phoenix. I've been before. Oh, man. This might be one where we pick differently. I don't know. I think the Rams got this one.
I want to pick the Rams, but I feel like Arizona looked really good last week against Buffalo, and they kind of choked it away. I think I'm going to take Arizona.
There we go.
The Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Denver, which I will be doing in December, by the way, to take on the Broncos at Empower Field at Mile High. You can get into the building for $158.
I guess it comes down to, I don't know these, like, I guess it depends who the team is they're playing. Steelers are a team that travels. And I guess if it's like a big football town, because you said the Arizona and the Jacksonville takes were super cheap, and the Panthers. That's two down south cities with the Jacksonville and the Chiefs. Maybe West Coast people are just more chill. Like, and then these tickets are high. Like, I don't get like, I don't get
Pittsburgh's
like
a good traveling team.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Dallas, Green Bay. When those teams come to your city, the tickets are going to go up.
Okay, well that makes sense then. But I got Pittsburgh.
Who's the quarterback for Denver?
I think it's Bo Nix, maybe. I'm not sure. I might be.
Sean Payton's still the coach. That sorry motherfucker. I'm gonna fuck Pittsburgh. I'm picking Denver, even though they got Justin Fields starting for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati travels to Kansas City to take on the Super Bowl champions and Taylor Swift. You can get in the building to be in the same building with Taylor Swift, EJ, for $142 at Arrowhead at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
This is my sixth football season here. But I've been here 5 years, but this is starting my sixth year, and this is my sixth football. I still haven't been to a Chiefs game. I want to go just to say I went, but these tickets ever since Mahomes has been in town have been high. Like you said, it's giraffe pussy. I'm not going to this one, but I got the Chiefs. I got the defending champions. Bengals did not look good against the Patriots last week, and that was at home.
Joe Burrow's hands fucked up.
Well, go rest your hand.
Jamar Chase doesn't have a contract. T. Higgins is mad at ownership. Cincinnati is basically what, honestly, is what I thought Dallas is going to be, where everybody's upset and people don't have their contracts. Luckily, Dallas at the last minute got everybody signed except for their coach. But Cincinnati is going through the fucking disruption of happiness that I thought Dallas would be going through right now. So I'm going to take the Chiefs, man. It's not looking like a good year for the Bengals. Chicago Bears travel to Houston to take on the Texans. You can get in the building to see CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams go one-on-one, 8:20 Eastern Standard Time on NBC for $112.
Wow, those Houston Texans tickets went up because when I was my friend lives there, so I pretty much go to Houston every year. And I think one year I was looking at the tickets weren't bad; they were like $60-$70. But I guess when you have like a quarterback that did well and drive those ticket prices up.
They got a good team. They won a playoff game last year.
Yeah, I got Houston this one. Caleb Williams, I know he's gonna go through those rookie woes, but he didn't complete more than 100 yards last week. So
yeah, he didn't look good at all. I'm gonna take Houston as well. Final game of the week, Monday, September 16th. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. You can get in the building in that shitty fucking town for $146.
Have you been to Philadelphia before?
Fuck Philadelphia. I will never go to that town.
How you know it's shitty?
Because the Eagles play there.
Oh, so you just assuming. I've been to Philly.
And the 76ers.
I went to, oh yeah, you're a Knicks fan. I went to Philly. It's like any big city.
And the Flyers.
Fuck the Eagles, though. But I got them in this game. Sorry, Michael Rucker.
I want to take the Falcons so bad, but I'm not. I'm going to take the Eagles. God damn it. I got the Eagles.
That's what's up. Well, this week we had 3 different picks, but we're still going to be pretty much neck and neck by the time next week comes. So,
no, see you win all 3 of them. You fucking go up 5 games.
With the NFL, that's not going to happen. So,
yeah. Next week I'll come with some parlays. Okay. I didn't think about it this week, but next week I'll come with some parlays. We'll try not to go an hour and fucking 50 minutes next week, but
that's how much we usually run during football season. It is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, you got anything you want to say, EJ, before we get up out of here?
Nah, don't want to be too long-winded. Just shout out to everybody that's listening. Make sure to follow us on all social media and all that good stuff. That's all I got.
That is all I have as well. Thanks for listening. Share us. Tell your friends about us. Buffalo and Miami are tied at 0 points right now with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter. But again, thanks for listening. Check us out. Please follow us on all our social medias. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We have them all. Please follow us there and like us on YouTube. For EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Until next week, peace.
Got it bumping. Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put it, dude.